Hey everyone, I'm going to be doing a simple review of my Crisloid Attaché backgammon board. There's not a lot of reviews on YouTube about Crisloid and some of these boards. There is an unboxing, and I will put that link down below for those of you, for the unboxing purposes. I've had my board for almost 6 months, give or take, and I, don't have the box obviously anymore, but I have played on the board quite a few times, obviously. And hopefully by watching this, it might help some of you better understand what the board is about, the customization behind it, a little bit about pricing, and some general questions and answers that I have been getting about this board. But what I can tell you is those who have played on my board so far have always complimented on this board. They absolutely love it, and it even inspired a couple of other backgammon players that I know to actually order one for themselves, as a matter of fact. It doesn't have to be just generic. The customization behind it is incredible. So I'm hoping that by doing this, it'll help this, some of you out there looking to get into a more larger backgammon board, a tournament-sized backgammon board. So the board measures about 16 inches closed, but when you open it, it's about 30 inches wide. This board is massive. By all means, go on their website to kind of get the idea of how large this board actually is. And they also have other versions on the board as well. So there's some smaller ones that are out there, including a little travel one that's out there. The playing field is not felt. It's actually cork. So if you've never played on a cork board before, it's a little weird at first. You're maybe not used to it, but once you start playing on a cork board, or even if you have a wood board, one of those fun wood boards, basic ones are out there, it's kind of like playing on that, but just at a much larger scale, but a little more softer than that, of course, but not as soft as a felt board. But the cool thing too about this cork is that it's fully customized. So the points, I chose the points, so the blue, the green, the checkers, yellow, and white, even the dice were chosen fully customized. The case itself is just the black alone is actually an upgrade. So, and I'm going to put some of the description below of what upgrades I chose and what the cost is. So if you decide to customize one of these boards for yourself, it is best to go online first, register. The reason why is by registering online first, you can check the status of the order. This took about 3 weeks during the build-up process, another couple more weeks for the shipping process as well, give or take. But Crisloid, being a local company, based in Rhode Island, and they are made in the USA, they sometimes, it takes a little bit longer to build one of these boards rather than just getting one off the shelf, which shipping time would take about 2 weeks for it to arrive, give or take. So just register online first. But if you do customize your board, no matter what, Crisloid will email you back what the board is going to kind of look like, your color options, your preferences. If you ever choose to put a logo of any type, a family crest, let's say, any kind of quotes around the bumpers, things of that nature, they will email you everything based off what your standard is. So you can tailor fit this board to suit your needs. For me, in order to keep the cost modest, I decided to I wanted to use something as an inspiration for the colors after many different options. Thought about it for a little while, but I made my decision to base the colors and the inspiration off my team. Please, no haters out there. My team is the Utah Jazz, so this is actually one of their older logos with the newer colors. And I was even willing to go as far as maybe doing their logo on both sides, the old one or the new one, things of that nature. But I decided to not do that. Just, again, part of it is due to cost, and also too, you can always change the checkers around for different colors, and didn't want to feel like I may regret it down the road or anything like that. But I wanted to at least keep it modest, but still have some inspiration in there. So please, no haters for my team. That's my team. It's my choice. And hopefully for some of you, it might give you the idea. But what I will say is, for those who know what the color options are and what the inspiration is, you'd be surprised. They still love this board. The colors, they just pop out. And a lot of backgammon players that I played on the board have always complimented, not just on the board, but the colors. They really enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. Let's put it to you that way. So again, that's my inspiration. Your options can be a lot different, but the imagination runs wild, and you'll see a lot of that on Crisloid's website. The checkers. The checkers measure about 1 3/4 inches wide, so they are big checkers. Let's do that. The white is standard with Crisloid, and the yellow marble that you see is they actually had to make these. There's even a video on Crisloid's website that shows how these are actually made. But these, they're not just like this. In fact, you can do the indentation if you wanted to on one side or both. You could put a logo, you could put your initials, you can put anything on these checkers. And again, just the more upgrading you do on this board, the higher the cost, of course, but your imagination can truly run wild. I can't say it enough that you can truly tailor fit a board like this to your own specifications of your own liking. But I chose to keep it just the standard size, flat, especially for when dice land on it in U.S. play. So if a dice lands on the checker, it does actually count, whereas an international play has to land on the field. So just to make sure the dice are not moving around too much, if they do land flat on the checker, that they will count and move forward in gameplay. So you don't have to worry about arguing if the dice are flat or not, things of that nature. One of the questions I do get asked is, do the checkers actually slide? And the answer is yes. It's almost like an air hockey table. And these checkers, even though they are not made of stone, they do sound like stone. So there's no issues at all when playing on this board with the checkers themselves. The playing field, when you decide to order one of these boards, if you get one of Crisloid's generic, sort of off-the-shelf boards already pre-made, the ones I played on at least, did not actually have it fully lacquered. This board is. So one of the questions I do get asked every now and then is, will these points, will the paint, or will it fade away, anything like that? Over time, I'm sure it will, once that lacquer slowly starts to dissipate just a little bit due to constant play. But Crisloid does have an incredible customer service where if the board ever becomes damaged, if it's something happened to it or anything like that, it needs to be retrofitted again, then you can send it back to Crisloid and they can repair it and bring it back the way that it was when you first got the board. And I can tell you, when I first got the board, the minute you open it, since this is fully made from scratch, it definitely still has its wood shop aroma to it, so it even smells good. So once you get it, and that's definitely a plus. But yeah, the checkers do slide around. You don't have to worry about that. A minute detail that I've also been asked for how large these checkers are is, does it cover the points where you can't even see the top of it? And the answer is yes, but it's a minute detail because it's almost, when you have them all lined up like this, can kind of cause a little bit of a traffic jam for the dice. So it's just best to stack them that way, and it's not a big deal, just so you can see the point the dice can move around. But that's the only real, I don't want to say the word negative, but just something to kind of keep in mind for being how large these actually are. So that's just, definitely keep that in mind. But it doesn't bother me at all. It's just something you kind of get used to, but it's not a big deal. The cups, these are upgraded. The dice cups that come with the standard board are made of cork on the inner lining and plastic on the outside in different colors. I chose to go with the larger leathered cups. There's a plastic inline inside, and you can even put your initials, a logo, anything like that on the outside, and that by itself would be another upgraded. But I chose to do this because I figured they would last longer. It's a heavy duty quality. I mean, I just can't stress enough how the quality of not just the board, but from the checkers to the dice cup is incredible. The dice, so these are actually not the original dice that came with the board. These are actually my precision dice, which are what typically for backgammon clubs or more tournaments, anything else, that's what they play. But the cool thing about that is that these dice actually do something that's pretty cool on a cork board, which is they actually spin. So 5, 6. So dice will spin even on a felt board, but on a cork board, because it's flat, it's a harder surface, they'll spin a little bit longer. So the actual dice that came with the board are these guys right here. See, again, I did pick the colors, but they're more, try and get those in focus here. There we go. You know, they're more marble-ish. Kind of see it. Oh, and one more thing too. Going back to the checkers just for a moment, you also do get 2 additional checkers. So if you ever do lose one or damage one, Crisloid will send you 1 additional checker each, just so you have them as backup. So I do keep these as backup, and I do keep the original dice to have. But as I mentioned, I play with the precision dice, and they fit just fine, the medium size, on the board. So what do the dice sound like? So hopefully that kind of gives you an idea. The cube, pretty standard cube. I've seen these around quite often. I actually do have the exact same cube in blue, but you can also customize your own cube if you choose to on Crisloid's website. But I decided to go with green, but I do have a blue one as well, literally the exact same size. So, and everything fits just fine all in its place. Some other customized things too that you can do on a Crisloid board is the bumper. So I did not put that bumper on there. That's actually Crisloid's that's their logo, along with, it says 1948 to 2818. The bumpers themselves, that is extra, so you can put a quote, a family saying, or any, things of that nature. But I did not put that there. Crisloid did, and that's fine by me. In fact, I actually appreciate the fact that Crisloid did that. It just really kind of shows its character of the company. People want to know what it is and what it stands by, and has 1948 with the old USA flag on there. It says USA on the side. It really, really is cool. I thank Crisloid for doing that, because that was definitely one great surprise. But you can also, as I mentioned, do your own customization how you want to. The outer part of the board is black, and there are different color options too. The black is an upgrade, believe it or not, which is a little strange to me. I don't know if Crisloid decides to charge you extra because maybe it's just so popular. I really don't know. But in the board, I mean, when you pick it up for the very first time, it weighs close to almost 15 pounds. It is a big board. So, and there's definitely some hefty weight to it, so kind of keep that in mind. But again, once when you open it and people see it, they'll know that that's a Crisloid when they see it for the very first time. One last thing. Oops. I decided to also put a plate, a little tag, focus here, right there, which is my name in Greek. So backgammon is played a lot in Greece. That's what a lot of Greeks like to do. Growing up, I never actually played backgammon because we just didn't really know how to play it for the longest time. About a year ago, in fact, I relearned how to play the game. I learned how to play a long time ago with some friends, forgot, and then about a year ago, went back to Greece. They call it Tavli. It's played everywhere. Coffee shops, bars, restaurants, you name it, people's homes, and they play on wood boards and things of that nature. So Tavli is everywhere in Greece and throughout the Middle East and other parts of Europe. So, but yeah, a board like this would definitely stand out if I was to play this in Greece. So, but I decided to put my name on there for the little plate on the side of it, just to add that one little extra character that's in there. And if you have your own, you can put your own different fonts if you want to. And Crisloid, again, will email you back what you decide to do on that, to add some customization. So once again, I'll put a link down below for the US Backgammon Association, for those of you that are looking to know where some backgammon clubs are in your area, tournaments throughout the country. I do live in Las Vegas. In fact, we have 2 backgammon clubs, and we actually do have our own tournaments about once every 6 months. So that will be in the link down below, along with the link of the unboxing and just a general pricing guide of what I paid for on this board. So it was still under $1,000, a little over 500 with shipping, of course. But as I mentioned, once you play on a Crisloid board for the very first time, you will be very, very impressed by this board. I cannot just stress that enough. I definitely do recommend getting one of these for yourselves if you're interested, in retrospect to other ones. So, and definitely make it pop on, something that makes it pop for yourself, actually, and tells you, who you are, describes you. So, please, give me a like, a thumbs up if you like this video. Comment down below. I'm hoping to help those of you out there looking for something like this. And please let me know if you have any other further questions down below. I do appreciate your time, and I hope this helps some of you out. Hope to catch you guys next time. Take care.